What's up? You're probably expecting me to make some video regarding Minecraft because I don't think I've ever put anything out on Minecraft, even though I played it a lot in the past. Took a huge break, came back and left, came back and left at a bunch of different servers and all of this extra stuff. But no, this is not a video about Minecraft. This is actually me complaining about school. I actually have plenty of recordings and footage of like my Minecraft gameplay. I don't know how much of it that I will actually post to YouTube. Some of it I feel like I should get some people's permissions before posting, like the actual audio, right? Because what I don't really do as much anymore is upload the raw like footage of audio and video with like my videos. It's usually just the background video and my own, you know, commentary on top of that. And as far as like the Minecraft stuff goes, I've got a handful of videos where I've actually spoken to other people and had it live and all this extra stuff. So I don't really know what I'll do as far as that goes. But this is me coming back into Minecraft. This is the Bedrock version. This is with certain packs. I keep like removing servers, editing servers, changing servers. I also have a Java version that's modded. I use CurseForge to mod it, and I'm thinking about like opening up a server to play with some friends, or if not, it'll just be my own little like private single player server where I'll do recordings and whatnot on there. It might actually do it like live, real time. I'm not too sure yet, but this was a work in progress for sure because I was definitely trying to understand how to get stuff working between Bedrock and all the stuff that they had to offer and trying to figure out if you could even combine worlds and how it would work. Short answer, no. No, as far as I know, you can't combine worlds. Somebody posted recently that you can't. They went looking around trying to figure it out. I did too. I saw somebody say that you could do it and that they did do it, but they needed help doing something else. I don't know. I'm not going to bother with it too much. Something I noticed with Worlds in the Bedrock version is that Minecraft has some system where you have to essentially make a world centered around that map. Like they make a map, you know, it's not just a generated world. They make a map and you play on that map. Some of these maps can be generated worlds, but because it is like a pre-made map for every world mod with Bedrock, you can't really mix mods. And then some of them, if you put add-ons in those worlds, it breaks the world entirely. Which, why? Why does it break it? And why do you even have the option to put add-ons in if it's going to break the world so much so that you don't even play Minecraft anymore? You know, it just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, but that's not what I'm here to complain about. I am in my last month of school. I graduate in May. The end of all my work is this. Well, we're in April, right? It's the end of April is when everything's like due for me, right? So naturally, my professors decided to throw everything at me at once, like a week ago, maybe half of a week ago. So, just out of the blue, I have one big project where I have to do basically three papers. The last one is a full on, like, 2-page paper. The first two are like these small things for a paper, right? That's for one class. The other class, I have a project where I'm basically making a YouTube video, but it's somewhat of a documentary, and I'm having to cut up stuff and put stuff together and all that. That's all due the same day that the paper is due for the other class, right? So that's 2 classes worth of projects right now. The other class is, and this is the one that like I just found out about, right? Apparently, we have a paper in that class, and it's due a little later than those, like the first two, but basically still all in April. And I had no idea that it was due. This class specifically that I'm going to complain about is a class that has no due dates. All of our work is without due dates, okay? So nothing is due, right? And because of that, nobody really knows what it is we're supposed to do. We just assume we're supposed to do everything. Teacher comes out of the blue during a midterm, which was like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, and says, hey, chapters this through this are due. Okay? And once you finish those chapters, because they need to be due by midterm, once you finish those chapters, you also have an exam based off those chapters. But wait, there's more. You also have a practice quiz for every one of those chapters and an actual test for every one of those chapters. And you need to finish all of those quizzes, tests, and chapters by the exam date, which is the midterm. And you also need to do the exam all at the same day. And well, you need to have it all done by the same day, right? I want to say those were chapters 1 through 3 for all of that, right? You're probably like, oh, that sounds simple enough. Sure, but the overall work in the class is like 10 chapters, okay? And the way that the chapters are set up are, it's a chapter, but there are sections inside the chapter, right? So it's like chapters inside the chapter. These chapters that are inside the chapter are question and answer sections. So I've basically got like, and these can vary, right? It can be one question, it can be 4 questions or more, right? So it can be, I basically have 10 chapters. Each chapter has about 4 mini chapters inside of it, at least. And each mini chapter has anywhere from 1 to, let's just say, 7 questions. And on top of this, these questions are not multiple choice. These are all type your answer out after reading the book and finding the answer type questions, right? Which you're probably like, okay, well, that's not so bad. And it's like, yeah, that wouldn't be bad if it weren't all due by the end of the semester, which is what we're finding out now, right? It's all due, all of it is due by the end of the semester. To add to all of it being done by the end of the semester, you still have, if you're like a full student, which pretty much everybody is, but not everybody, you're going to have at least 5 to 6 other classes on top of this that also have extra work due, that actually has due dates, as well as projects, presentations, papers, so on and so forth. And then, oh man, if you're a student that works like me, you also have a job. So you're juggling all of this. And this class is pretty much a busy class. All you do is busy work. There's nothing else to it. And a teacher, out of the blue, just hits you up like the whole class and it's like, hey, a lot of you haven't done a paper. If you don't do the paper, you're pretty much going to fail. And naturally, we're all like, what paper are you talking about? What paper? There's no paper in the assignments. I even went out to email him and ask him like, hey, what paper? What do you mean? And he goes, oh, well, check your assignments. I could have been like, I did, you dildo. Where is it? But I didn't. I was just like, okay, thanks. I'll check again. So I went back to check and I couldn't find it. So thank God, there's a search bar in the assignment tab, and I typed in paper, and it's this one assignment that is just hidden. Like it's under everything. Like I said, there's 10 chapters. So really, I'm not even exaggerating, I've got about 40 assignments. All of them due by the end of the semester. In this one paper, and that's not including the tests, practice quizzes, and several exams, right? That's not including those. This paper was hidden amongst all this, and it was just titled paper. Who would find that? Who is going out of their way to look for that? What are you talking about? So now I am working on that, Thank God for the fun of it, when I did have a little more free time at the beginning of the semester, I actually did the end chapters first. I was working backwards. So I did like chapters 10, 9, 8, 7, and then when midterm hit, I had to turn in 1, 2, and 3. So I had to do 1, 2, and 3 on the spot and then take my exam at work, which I had to do over my phone. So I don't think my grade was as good. It was bad Wi-Fi. I had to get up and stop taking the exam to go do stuff for my job. It was a lot, right? But I turned it in. It's better than a 0. So I've got, I did like 10 through 7 a few months ago. well, like in my starting months, and then did 1 through 3 because we had to do it for the midterm, right? So now all I have to do is 6, 5, 4, and that needs to be due before basically the end of the month. And then on top of that, I have to finish the practice quizzes for 6, 5, and 4. So there's a quiz per chapter, and then I have to do the actual tests for 6, 5, and 4. So there's a test per chapter, and then there are a few exams where 3 chapters are grouped at a time. So I've got to do those, and then it's the paper, and that's just this one class. Mind you, none of the assignments have a due date except the paper. So that's great, loving it. You're probably like, well, why'd you pick this class if you don't like it? I didn't. I have after a certain semester, I am assigned a director, and I'm not the only one. Pretty much my entire group of my major is assigned a director, and that director asked me, what would I be open for? At the time, I told him pretty much anything because all he was giving me were electives because I had pretty much all of my main classes finished. But the issue with these electives were I didn't get like the fresh pick of the barrel because technically I was coming to him somewhat later. And I can't remember exactly why I was coming to him later. Like, I don't think it was one of those things where like I was just choosing to talk to him last or something. I know at one point I was sick, so I wasn't able to actually talk to him. Like sick for like 2 weeks. I had COVID, but I can't remember if that's why it was late or if he was out. I just can't remember. But he ends up talking to me one of those days and asking me, what would I be comfortable with? And I was like, okay, well, pretty much anything. He suggested some things, and I basically had to tell him anything, right? And he knows that. I had to tell him anything because if I decided to pick a specific class and they didn't have it, he and I would have to have another meeting to try to shoot for another class, which the chances of that happening were very slim because A, like I said, I work, so my schedule isn't just always open, but B, he also had a handful of stuff to do as well as helping a bunch of other students pick out their classes. So if I didn't, like, say I wanted Spanish 2 for one of my electives and say I wanted art 2 for another elective, right? If he went to electives and tried to put something in, like Spanish or art, let's say the classes were full or they just stopped being offered or the teacher quit or whatever the case may be, he would have to call me back up on another day where we didn't have class and meet up with me again to walk over what would be the best pick for me, like to have for a class, right? Instead of just setting something up for me, we'd have to meet all over again. So for me to tell him I'll take anything means that even if they don't have the classes that he would want me to take or that he thought that I would like to have, he could still put me in something else because that was me basically giving him my permission without us having to meet again. So that's what happened. Not only that, but the system was down for some weird reason. So that day of trying to put me in classes, he couldn't, right? He just sat there and talked with me and had me write some stuff down and sign some stuff off for graduation and just told me that when he can, which he either try to get to a main office to try to touch the system, or he tried to do it at home, assuming that the actual campus's connection was as bad, which it usually is. That's how it would be fixed. So yeah, that's my life right now. Juggling major projects for major classes, and this is all going to determine whether or not I get to graduate and be done with this godforsaken major or not. So, yeah, I hope the rest of you are stressing like me if you're about to graduate university or college or community college, not high school. I hope you're not struggling in high school, but everything else, unless your high school is like a really good one, then I hope you're struggling. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to ramble on about that, rant, complain. If you listened and got this far, feel free to talk about it or don't. I don't care. I've got, I'm on like the last end of chapter 6, right? Like I'm on the last. Oh, and that's another thing that I want to. So the sections for each chapter, right? He gives questions, but the questions aren't even correct. Like the book, like for that section, talks about like a city, and excuse me, Albert, talks about a city and the people that lived in that city in like 2016, right? It only covers 2016. The section right after that covers 2023. Tell me why the questions he's asking are for 2018. We can't give you the correct data for 2018 because the book doesn't talk about 2018. Where are you getting this number from? Right? So we kind of have to just BS it. I've just been putting the answers for 2016. My classmates have been putting the answers for 2018, but they're not getting the answers from the book. They're getting them from Google. That's something else. Majority of my classmates are not answering with the answers from the book. They are Google searching answers. They have answers that are like 6 paragraphs long for a 2-question assignment. 6 paragraphs. If you actually look in a book, I was actually looking in a book for a good chunk of the work. Those answers aren't a paragraph long. Those answers are a sentence, maybe 2 sentences long. I have classmates putting 6 paragraphs down for something that's 2 sentences long because they can't find it in a book, or they're not looking in the book, or they don't care to use the book because the stuff, or it's something crazy like the 2018 thing, and they don't know where to look for it because it's not in the book. That's what I mean. Stuff like this is happening constantly for this class. When this class is over, I don't use that website, that Rate My Teacher website, where you get to rate your teacher and put whatever, they are as far as a teacher goes. I don't use that website, but I'm going to use that website after this. When I graduate, I'm running that teacher's name in the mud. Oh my goodness, I cannot stand that. We're getting busy work, right? For the entire semester, and you're waiting until the end of the semester to tell us, A, everything's due, but B, we've got this extra paper that was hidden. It wasn't in like one of the opening parts of the assignments tab, like the tests and quizzes were. It was just hidden as if it was a normal assignment, even though it's more than half of our grade. And then B, well, I mean, unless I already just did B. C, whatever whatever notch I'm on now, is just a lot of extra nonsense, man. All you had to do, right? All you had to do was just give us due assignments like per month or per week. I don't care, right? We could have did chapter 1 for the first 2 months, or we could have done chapter 1 all the way until the first midterm, right? So you would have had like 5 months, 6 months to do chapter 1, right? Then after the midterm to the final exam, chapter 2. That's it. You did not have to do everything that you're doing now. A lot of it is broken English, so he's not from here, right? A chunk of it is just nothing, right? It's stuff that you're supposed to get from the book that you could easily answer, and yet he's worded questions to where you try to read more to find the exact answer, and you just end up being even more lost because the way he words stuff and where he claims stuff is in the book isn't in the book, or it doesn't exist at all, and you got to go to Google and try to make sense of it. And a lot of it is like discussion work, and you're just typing and typing and typing, and your classmates are typing even more than you because nobody knows what the right answer is. So we're all droning on with these BS answers, hoping something's going to work and count towards a positive grade. And 9 times out of 10, he's not actually reading any of your answers. He's just checking to see if you answered. Like, why? Why put us through this? We have 5 to 6 other classes that actually mean something and matter, and you're holding us back with all this extra nonsense. You are a terrible teacher. Please change universities. But yeah, that's it. Like I said, I hope the rest of you are suffering. Suffering educationally. Oh, my brain stopped working. Whatever, man. That's it. Now I'm padding for the 20-minute mark. How you guys feeling? I'm not getting monetized. I don't get ads or sponsorships. Eat my balls.